Yes, we have so much to look forward to, but right now we've got plenty to look forward to. We have Inside the 10 coming your way. Michael Shamus, great to see you. Gus, have you had a breather? We won't come to you in the first question. And Andrew Webster as well. Great to see you all. Now let's start off. Have the players gone too far in their CBA dispute with the NRL? It has been the hottest topic all week since it happened, since the media blackout.
Well, they could go further and strike, and if they really believe in what they're disputing about, then they probably should. I just can't believe that it's still going. I mean, we were talking about this in December. I remember writing a column for the Herald about the issue being a clash of egos between Andrew Abdo and Clint Newton. And I can't believe that 8 months down the track, they got Brett Clegg, a former News Corp exec, involved to help negotiations. Hugh Marks, the former CEO of this company, he was involved there last year, and they still can't get it done. The problem with the RLPA, I reckon, is their messaging. I really do believe that. And I like Clint Newton. I think he's a good man, but he can talk under 10 feet of wet cement. And I think that's a big issue. I think those two men, those figures probably need to be removed. If you look at the RLPA website at the moment, it actually outlines exactly what they have concerns about and what the sticking points are. And to be perfectly honest, they're valid. But they need to get a mediator involved, which the RLPA is calling for, whether the ARL Commission wants the same thing, and just get a deal done, because that is the art of negotiation. You can't get everything you want.
And do you see the way that they're going about it as the right way to go about it?
I think it was really weak. I think, honestly, if you really believe in it, then don't just waive the whole idea of strike action like they've been doing for the last year, and do it. You know, but to not do media interviews, do you think it's any skin off the players' nose? And do you think they're not really going to care?
Are the fans really caring? Like, this whole thing is so boring. It's so boring. It's been going on, as you said, for 20 months now, and there's no resolution in sight. For me, I think the RLPA, they're trying to... It's a power struggle, and searching for relevance at the moment, the RLPA, and a lot of these sticking points are around control, and the NRL don't want to give up control. I just find the whole thing boring. I think the fans find it boring. They don't care if the players are going to say something after the match or not. And as we know, the bite in the hand that feeds them. It's the media companies who pour in all this money for the players to earn the money that they do. I think it's a little bit, I guess, a little bit hypocritical when some players, if they have media deals on the side, they can still talk. Like, I want to know, is Daly Cherry Evans going to talk after Origin? That's going to be aired on Channel 9 when they get presented the Shield. Is Daly Cherry Evans not going to go up and say anything?
I think he will. We were speaking to Clint in the ad break, and
he's going to talk
because he's addressing the fan.
I know what you mean. There's a lot of talk that he wasn't going to say anything, that it was going to be the coaches.
Well, that would be the disappointing thing, because they're both right, the fans, and I'm a fan. I just want to hear from the players before the game. I want to see the dressing room. That's what we've been used to now. But in terms of the other stuff, you're both two businesses. Just get together and sort it out. The players probably want to have a chat, may not want to have a chat, but in there, we want to hear from them. So get it done.
So what do you see as the solution then? How is this going to
Well, if you've got two people that have been banging heads for close to a year, like Webby said, or 6 months or so, then get two different people or get a mediator in there that can actually sort it out. Like you say, I've been married for 30-odd years. It's compromise. Life is compromised. Marriage is compromised.
The RLPA is
compromise.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But the RLPA are asking for a mediator. So, and when I flagged that with the NRL during the week, they didn't think that the commission would be open to that. I think they should be.
Yeah.
They want to get a deal done. They can't. Look, you don't want a dispute between the governing body and the players. The players are the most important asset.
95% of the players wouldn't even know what's going on. 100%.
100%. Yeah, I know, but they're also, but they're still signed to a union.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just saying that to put all of them in this category, they just find out they're not talking to the media. Happy days. We're not talking.
I've had conversations with players and said, when I talked to them and said, would you be prepared to go on a strike? And they said, yeah, we'll strike for this. I go, you realise you don't get paid? I've been on a strike. You don't get paid. They go, oh, you don't get paid? So I don't know how much the RLPA is communicating some of the rhetoric that they're going on about to their actual members.
I just want it solved. I think a lot of people just want it solved, and whatever way it has to happen, whether there are two other people that come in for the negotiations, whatever it is, we need it to be solved.
Yep.
All right, moving on. West Tigers chair Lee Hadjipantel stormed out of a function on Friday after some comments from Alan Jones, some criticism from Alan Jones. Is Alan Jones right in the fact that Lee should resign?
Yeah, look, the criticism was of the board, and Lee Hadjipantelis, the Tigers, they spent $10,000 to be at the luncheon for Daniel Anderson, raise money there. And after Alan Jones's comment, Lee, he left the room. There was an hour to go. He left the function and went back to work. I spoke to him today, and he said, I'm not going to sit there and cop that, where we've come out there and trying to support someone and have someone on stage ridicule the club. Alan Jones is entitled to his opinion, but I think the timing of it there at a function with all 17 clubs represented to embarrass the Tigers like that, I thought it was poor timing. But it gets to the bigger point around the Tigers board now. Do they stay? Do they go? The way the Tigers are run, the members can't vote them off. And Lee Hadjimentelis, despite what people think, doesn't have any more power than any other of those directors. He's just a chair. He chairs the board meetings, but his power in there isn't any greater than anyone else. I'm not going to sit here and be critical of Lee, someone who puts in so much money to that club, but also is so passionate about that club. Goes to Harold Matts games, SG Ball games, was at New South Wales Cup yesterday. Sure, there are things that he says that people don't like him saying, and he's a bit different to other chairmen. But his commitment to that club can't be questioned, and I feel as though people don't understand how much he does for that club. The Tigers' problems goes way back before Lee became chair. Marina Go was chair before that. I don't disagree with Tigers fans that there should be change. And Justin Pascoe, I like Justin Pascoe. I get along with Justin Pascoe. But there is time for change. I don't think he is to blame solely for the problems they are in. But they've got nothing to lose by change. And I think Justin Pascoe's time at that club should end at the end of the year.
So you want Pascoe to go and not Hadjipentelis?
Well, it's the board. What does Lee do that is different to the other directors?
He's the chairman.
No, I'm asking you.
He's the chairman.
Yes, but he's overseeing decisions.
He's been running the club. He's run a car crash of a club ever since he's been in charge.
He's been there for 3 or 4 years.
So listen, I was there at that function, right? And Yvonne Sampson, our friend, she was the MC, did an incredible job. And it was like a throwaway interview with Alan Jones at his table. He wasn't on stage at all. She asked a throwaway question about what do you think of the West Tigers? And Alan Jones did what Alan Jones does and gave it to them. Like, if you haven't been on the end of a withering spray from Alan Jones, you haven't lived. Believe me, I've been on the end of many, on air, many times. It was nothing. Vonnie did exactly the same sort of banter with Trent Robertson about the Roosters, and he laughed it off. The way Lee Hadjipentelis made that function, a function that had been run so well and so important for Daniel Anderson to throw his toys out of the cot and then storm off and not, mate, honestly, mate, if you've got that much of a glass jaw, then you shouldn't be in the job.
So just going back to that point there that you made, so you think that it's Justin Pascoe who should go rather than Lee Hadjipentelis? Is that because what's... Well,
the CEO is the one making decisions. Now, the board sign off on those decisions, and they put their faith in Justin Pascoe to make the recommendations, like the coach sackings, like the coach signings. It's Justin Pascoe's recommendations that go to the board and they sign off on it. Justin's been there a long time, has done some good things for the club, but I just think it's time for change. It's not a personal attack on Justin. They've been there 10 years. It's time for some fresh blood, some new ideas. They've got nothing to lose. They're at a low point at the club, lowest point they've ever been in, 74 zip the other day. Time for change.
Something's got to give. Do we agree?
I think so. I mean, I'm a Roosters fan. We've had a lot of success. We're going through a tough year this year, but I've got plenty of Tigers fans and they want things to change on the field. Does that mean you have to fix it off the field? It sounds like it, so someone needs to go.
But you're a Roosters fan. So Nick Politis, who's probably the most successful chairman in the history of club football just about. How often would you see Nick Politis make himself front and centre of stories, of media opportunities, of storming out of functions?
Never.
He sits there and keeps his mouth shut and is worried about one thing, the club.
Every club can run like the Roosters. Like
No, of course
Nick runs
they can't.
that club like a dictatorship, and he's done so well for so long. People respect him.
Yeah, but the difference is Nick doesn't make it about himself.
I'm not
Lee
saying that he
Hadjipentelis, Michael, makes it about himself.
Yes, but
and if you're going to sit in that, if
style...
you're going to be the chairman of a club, it can't be about you. It's got to be about the club, and that's what's wrong with the West Tigers. There you go.
Well, in terms of running clubs, though, in terms of running football clubs, no one can run football clubs like Nick Politis. You can't... Trying to run a club like a dictatorship...
I'm not talking about how they run it. I'm talking about how Nick doesn't make himself a perpetual story
Lee's different.
all the time.
Lee is different. I said to you...
because Lee wants to make it about him.
People don't like Lee for whatever reason it may be. He comes out, always has an opinion on things. He goes on the radio during the week and says what he does. But what I'm saying is you can't question his commitment to that club.
I'll tell you what you can question, how the club's gone on his watch.
Yeah, you can. I agree with you.
Well, that's all that matters.
And the appointment of Justin Pascoe is what is under question. The board's not going anywhere. It's a moot point. The board is not going to walk away. No one has the power to remove them from that position.
Well, he should do the right thing and fall on his sword and give it to someone else, because you've had a good go, mate. Time to give it to someone else and let them have a go at trying to turn the club around.
Yeah.
Can you see them doing...
No, I can't see anyone walk away.
No one. So you think that the Tigers are just going to keep it as is? Can you see movement coming?
No, I can't see movement in the short term. I think what I could see happening if this continues with the criticism and the public pressure on Lee Hadjipentelis, I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away. There'll be Tigers fans who'd be happy. but he pours in a lot of money to that club and to rugby league in general. I'm just saying, I'm not going to sit here and criticise a guy who does so much for them.
All right, quickly, before we let you all go, NRL consider taking Origin to New Zealand. What do we think about this? Should they do it?
I think it's great. I was in Adelaide, I was in Perth in last year. As long as we've got one game in Brisbane, one game in Sydney, we're not going to go back to 2-1. So that's as simple as that. So let's go and make some money. Everyone wants more money. I imagine this discussions we're having at the moment with the association and the players is all about money. We need more money. Go to New Zealand, they love it, build it up over there, and I reckon it's an absolute win-win. Plus, something you can plan, go for it, have a long weekend away and watch the footy. How good's that?
Imagine a packed Eden Park.
Yeah, pretty good.
Be pretty
awesome.
special.
Yep.
I'm on board.
There we go. All right.
I heard the buzzer, so I didn't know whether to chime in with a lot more
Let's
there.
pack the bags for New Zealand.
Beautiful.
All right,
and
sounds
we're
good.
going to Vegas as well.
That's
so.
it.
Shamus said before we went on, he said, let's have a fight.
Yeah. I thought I was going to get in the middle
We'll
of
let
you
you
two
two
there. for a
calm
second.
down. All right,
Yeah.
with plenty more still coming your way here on the Sunday Footy Show. Up next, we'll be looking back at the Tigers and the Sharkies. Plenty to discuss. It's Sunday Footy Show right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.